It feels like the Raiders with Antonio Pierce, the urgency is there from the head coach. The Raiders probably make the most sense in getting a quarterback.
We have learned that it is not over. The Raiders are still trying to trade up, and Vegas has met with several quarterbacks prior to the 2024 draft. Everything is about to go down in 33 days, and it seems like we're starting to learn who the new franchise quarterback is going to be. Make sure to subscribe for more content from me, Wi-Fi Willie. Tom Brady is still set to be a minority owner of the Raiders, but this is not going to be decided on until the fall. NFL owners are pissed that Mark Davis is trying to give Brady a fat discount for 10% of the team. So we'll see if this really gets approved. It has been postponed for now. Meanwhile, star edge rusher Max Crosby is hanging out with NFL insider Jay Glazer, MMA fighter Chuck Liddell, and the safety of the LA Chargers, Derwin James. Oh no, Derwin James better not be trying to recruit our guy, Max Crosby. If the Raiders do not grab a quarterback in the first round, they have some options, and you had a viral video of Antonio Pierce talking to one of the projected top cornerbacks in the NFL draft, Tyrion Arnold. At Alabama's Pro Day, you can see Antonio Pierce chopping it up with the young defensive back. Las Vegas Review writer Vinny B also saying that Pierce would like to pair another cornerback with Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs. I think this makes a lot of sense considering the fact that the Raiders lost Amik Robertson to the Detroit Lions. But all eyes are on quarterback, and the Raiders are talking to a few guys who aren't necessarily going to go in the first round. Florida State Seminoles QB Jordan Travis has been thrown again after his leg injury that happened towards the end of the season, and it turns out that the young quarterback has meetings lined up with the New York Jets and the Las Vegas Raiders. Jordan Travis is quite the dual threat quarterback. He currently is the all-time leader in total touchdowns for the Florida State Seminoles and also is the leader in total yards of offense and rushing yards by a quarterback plus quarterback rushing touchdowns. He leads all of these categories. Unfortunately, he had a season-ending leg injury, which kept him from participating in the pre-draft process. It makes you wonder, would this guy's stock be higher if he wasn't injured? Jordan Travis is meeting with the Jets soon and has already met with the Las Vegas Raiders. Those are just the two teams that we know of right now that he has spoken to. Michael Penix Jr. has been mocked to the Raiders recently. You saw Daniel Jeremiah do this from the NFL Network, and now you have Bucky Brooks talking about the fact that Michael Penix Jr., the Washington Huskies quarterback, would potentially be a good fit for the Raiders, being the 5th quarterback selected in the 2024 draft at pick number 13. And I find this interesting when you have two different NFL insiders trying to push Michael Penix Jr. to the Raiders.
But Michael Penix Jr., I would not sleep on that one with the Raiders there at 13, which could surprise some people.
Do they know something is going on? Is this an agenda they have? What is it? RaidersBeat.com captured this nugget from Bucky Brooks, the NFL Network insider, saying that the Raiders are trying to run heavy and push the ball down the field, and they want somebody who's able to throw it over the top of the defense. And Michael Penix Jr. is one of the top deep ball throwers in this 2024 NFL draft, so Bucky Brooks believes that he would be a good fit for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's not a mobile quarterback, so he would be substantially different than somebody like Jordan Travis or somebody like Jaden Daniels. But Michael Penix Jr. had that rough game against Michigan, his last game as a Washington Husky, and it makes you wonder, if he would not have had that rough of a game, would he be mocked higher? Some people have been mocking him as a second-round pick, a high second-round pick, but prior to that game against Michigan, a lot of people thought this guy could go in the first round above somebody like Bo Nix. A lot of people have been assuming that the Raiders are not going to trade up. They're going to just pick the best player available, potentially a quarterback at pick 13. But you have this nugget from Ian Rappaport when he was asked, are the Broncos more likely to trade up or are the Raiders more likely to trade up? The Broncos are picking just one spot above the Raiders right now. Rappaport's answer was quite interesting. He assumed that Sean Payton, being the offensive-minded coach, would not reach for a quarterback, but thought that the Raiders are still gonna go all in to get their guy.
Feels like the Raiders with Antonio Pierce, the urgency is there from the head coach. Getting a quarterback makes sense because whatever happens this year, if you get a guy, you can at least say, like, we got a guy for the next 10 years. I don't know where it's gonna be, and like, to me, it's gonna be pretty hard to trade up, but I think they'll give it a shot.
After the Raiders signed Gardner Minshew, and we've heard reports that all the teams picking at the top of the draft want to go quarterback, we all wrote this idea off that the Raiders are trying to trade up for their franchise guy. That is why this report is insane. The Raiders are still trying to be aggressive. And remember, in late February, Antonio Pierce pretty much said he wants to trade up for a quarterback.
I'm sure that's something Telesco's already spoke about, but that's my personality, as you guys saw and witnessed. I'm a go-getter. But, obviously that's got to be a collective agreement.
I thought this was a little insane for Pierce to say in late February, pretty much showing his hand on the poker table, saying that he wants to trade up to grab a quarterback. And now you got Rappaport backing up these claims, saying that the head coach really wants their franchise guy. Jaden Daniels at the Combine was asked about his relationship with Antonio Pierce and how he would feel if the Raiders traded up to grab him.
He's talked about how much he knows you could potentially come up for you.
Man, we're going to see. We are going to see. AP is a great guy. He's the right guy for the job. And if he did and I hear my name called and on draft day I hear my phone call ring and it's AP, I don't know what I'll do. So right now, I'm just blessed. I'll take it day by day. I'll let everybody handle that. That's what they're for,
So he seems kind of shy and excited when he says this. He seems happy about the idea of his phone ringing and AP being on the other line after the Raiders traded up. So maybe this is a possibility. I think with how jolly he looked at the Combine, maybe there was something going on making the guys super relaxed that day. Perhaps that could be enough to tank the guy's draft stock, allowing the Raiders to snag him. There's not a great up-to-date list of the Raiders' top 30 visits, but we do know they had a formal interview with JJ McCarthy at the Combine, along with Drake May, and the Raiders obviously met with LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels and also Caleb Williams. We mentioned earlier that the Raiders already met with Florida State QB Jordan Travis. Oregon quarterback Bo Nix also had a meeting with them at the Combine, and the Washington Huskies quarterback Michael Penix Jr. was able to meet and had a chat with him at the Combine as well. It just feels like trading up is going to be so hard considering the fact that the Bears want a quarterback, Commanders and Patriots do as well. I think if there is a chance that Jaden Daniels falls to pick 4, maybe the Raiders just send the farm to grab this guy. Antonio Pierce is pushing for it. Ian Rappaport is reporting that they're all in, still willing to get their franchise guy. And even though I believe Gardner Minshew would be a great bridge quarterback after the Derek Carr era, after the Josh McDaniels disaster, I just feel like the Raiders really need a young franchise QB that the whole entire fan base could rally around. It's going to be difficult to compete in the AFC West considering the fact that you got Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in that same division. And it just feels like if you're going into this year with a band-aid at the quarterback position, like Antonio Pierce basically said earlier this year, then you're just setting yourself up to have a mediocre season altogether. I think the Raiders should go all in. Hopefully Rappaport is right and the Raiders make this happen. Subscribe to this channel for more NFL content from me, Wi-Fi Willie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.